Connie from FAFF Designs. Welcome to the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. I am one of your Dixie Belle brand ambassadors and I am going to show you today how I got this dirty ombre finish using chalk mineral paint. This piece had some damage on the top, so before I did anything else, I made sure that I stripped the damaged veneer away. This is only going to cause problems if it wasn't done, so I got stuck in with my scraper and removed the entire veneer from the top. With the veneer removed, I then went in with Dixie Belle's White Lightning Cleaner and gave the piece a really good scrub, and then I rinsed it with clean warm water afterwards to remove any product. Because I had stripped the top, obviously this is now going to give me a different tone to the rest of the piece. So I wanted a blank canvas and I also wanted to distress the finish on this piece. So I decided to give it a base of silk all-in-one mineral paint in the colour Ombre, which is a gorgeous rich deep brown. Kind of looks like the oak finish that would have been the original finish on this piece. So that's why I went with Ombre, in hope that when I distress this piece you can see the dark brown underneath and it looks like the original finish. I did mix some sea spray in with the silk mineral paint, and as you can tell I'm stippling it on using a premium chip brush. And the reason for that is because although the veneer had all been removed, it did leave quite a not so nice surface on the top. It wasn't completely smooth. So sea spray is really good for covering up any kind of minor imperfections and damage to the top. So I'm just stippling it on to just give a little bit of texture to the surface. When the silk mineral paint base colour was dry, I then started adding my ombre colours. So the four colours that I chose for this piece were some nice happy yellows. I started with Lemonade, which is a really beautiful pale yellow. Then I moved on to Rebel Yellow. The third yellow in the lineup is Daisy. And then the very bottom colour is Colonel Mustard, which is the deepest yellow in the Dixie Belle range. I'm using a separate Dixie Belle synthetic brush for each colour. As you can tell, I'm not worrying too much about blending the colours at the moment. I am just getting the colours in the right place. So I keep sort of stepping back and making sure that it kind of looks how I want. I did go a little bit further down with the Daisy in the end. And in total I did 3 coats of the yellow ombre, but this coat that you can see me putting on, the first coat, I just wanted to get the yellows in the right sort of placement. Okay, so the second coat is going to build up coverage of those yellows. Again, I'm using 4 individual brushes for each individual yellow colour that I'm using. And I'm also using my continuous mister bottle to keep the paint open so that it's not drying. And I am blending the colours together using the brushes. I'm not using a neutral brush for this. I'm just kind of blending them really roughly together because I want a more sort of a smoky boho blend with this. I'm not looking for a perfect seamless blend. What I did do right at the very bottom is decide to introduce a 5th colour, which is Collard Greens. So I'm just adding it a little bit around the handles and the hinges, just to give a little bit of definition. And I'm also going to add it around the base of the carved area and the feet that you can see there. So I didn't allow the kernel mustard to fully dry, so I'm almost kind of blending it into the kernel mustard just to give me a deeper, dirtier tone of mustard, just to add a little bit of depth and dimension to those carved areas. As I mentioned at the start of the video, the plan was to distress this piece and give it a bit of a rustic vibe. So when the paint had dried for about an hour, so it's still a little bit soft, I went around the piece and distressed the carved detail around the drawers and some other areas that I wanted to pick out the detail. I used a 220 grit sandpaper, and the paint's still soft, so it makes it a little bit easier to distress. If you wait till the paint has dried fully, you will be rubbing it a little bit harder than what I am. I felt like it kind of needed something to bring it all together, so I added some pine cone chalk mineral paint into a bowl and lots of water to make a paint wash. I then added the paint wash over the entire piece using the Best Dang brush. It's a really large natural bristle brush, so it did it really quickly. And then I wiped the excess off, and this kind of acted like a bit of a glaze. It also just toned down those yellows a very small amount, and I think it just ties the piece together. So to add a really nice sheen and a layer of protection to the paint, I added Best Dang Wax in Clear with a blue applicator sponge over my piece. I quite often use a sponge to apply wax with because it gives a really nice even coat of wax. And then I left it on there, and about 20 minutes later I buffed it out to give a really nice shine. I wanted to enhance those carved details a little bit further, so I added Best Dang Wax in brown with a premium chip brush into all the recessed areas. It looks like an absolute hot mess at the moment. Don't worry, because we applied the clear wax first. It's going to act as a barrier and stop that coloured wax from being absorbed into the chalk mineral paint. Once I've applied the brown wax in the areas that I want it, I went back with the blue applicator sponge and removed the excess off the piece, which leaves all the brown wax sitting in all of those carved details and just makes it really three-dimensional. So to recap, here is the before shot. I did a little cheeky zoom in on all those detail, and here is the final shot and how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed the video, and make sure you're subscribing to the Dixie Belle YouTube channel.